Namaste everyone. Samantha here at Magick Yoga Studio in Clarkdale, Arizona. Coming to you this morning to talk about sacred sexuality and our vital essence, our Ojas, which it is called in Ayurveda. If you are not familiar with Ayurveda, it is the science or knowledge of life, the oldest system of health that exists in our world. It is at least 5,000 years old, if not older. And it works or speaks about these very subtle qualities, Ojas, Tejas, and Prana. Prana you hear of a lot in yoga. Comes in through the breath, it's carried through the breath. But Ojas is our deep human vitality. It is the ultimate creation or essence of everything that we take into our body. So food, experiences, thoughts, all of these things will either deplete or build this vital essence. And Ojas is our energy, our strength, our vitality, our immunity. It's the working with all of the different tissues in the body. It's the very subtle essence of Kapha, or earth and water, in the body. So this is very important to understand. And in our modern world, especially in the West, we use sex to sell everything. We use, these images of hypersexual women or really buff men or anything to sell clothes, to sell food. And this is a problem. Even thinking sexually explicit thoughts all the time can deplete Ojas. And people get disturbed by this. There's pornography everywhere, accessible at the click of a button on the internet. So we're sort of assaulted with these images of sex and what it should be and that we have to have it all the time and blah, blah, blah. We're told that orgasms promote oxytocin, which is true, but the only time that can be building of the Ojas is when you're in love and you're being rejuvenated by your partner, and it's a mutual respect and understanding of this divine feminine and masculine coming together. Otherwise, it's very depleting. And this is important to understand. We want to conserve this energy, or what's called Brahmacharya in Ayurveda and yoga. It is one of the very important things that yogis take on, is maybe being celibate all the way, or just being aware and balanced with how you use the sexual energy. Human sexual energy is the strongest energy in the world. It creates new life. And if you keep it inside and direct it upward to the higher centers of your brain and your being, it rejuvenates you. It rejuvenates your cells. It gets this gland up here to secrete and balance your hormones and many, many things. So depending on what dosha you are too, if you're vata, air, ether, pitta, fire with a bit of water, or kapha, earth and water, will kind of dictate how much sex could be appropriate for you. Kapha would want to have the most sex, the most orgasms. Pitta, it would really depend. Probably less sex during the hotter months because Pitta's already hot and fiery and passionate. And Vata would want to have sex maybe monthly. So we want to seek balance and not just waste this beautiful energy. And I wish this is something that men were taught a lot more of. I hear a lot of men say, oh, I have to orgasm every day in order to feel balanced and these types of things. They aren't taught that they can actually use this energy, their sperm, their life-giving seed, to regenerate themselves, to feed their brain, their heart. It's not something that should just be wasted on casual sex. And it really seems in our world that sex is on the plate right away. People don't even take time to connect with each other, to talk, to have conversations. They're basing their attraction just on the body, on the shell. And oftentimes that ends up being very hollow once this sexual desire sort of wears off. And it is said, if a couple gets together based off of sex and someone else stimulates one of those partners in a higher level above this lower triangle, the lower 3 chakras, up into the heart, the throat, the third eye, that attraction will trump the sexual attraction. So it's definitely a good endeavor to find someone that stimulates you on all levels, stimulates your heart, your mind, and your body after. We have much deeper sex and connection and passion when all of these chakras are involved, not just the root or the sacral. And in fact, women hold a lot of pain in the sacral chakra, the second chakra, Svadhisthana, in the lower abdomen, where our sexual organs are in the body. And a lot of pain and trauma can be held there for women. And women, I'd like to remind you, just because you're in a relationship with a man does not mean that you have to have sex with him whenever he wants. You are a sovereign entity within that relationship. So don't just give in to these expectations. Try to teach your man what you need as a woman, and that you don't want to be just an expectation, just a body, just a way for him to express his sexuality upon you. You need to express yours as well. And women, a lot of us, and myself included in the past, use our sexuality to feel validated, to feel beautiful, to feel worthy. And we are so much more than the body. And I really implore you to look at this inside of yourself. See if perhaps you are using your sexuality for these reasons, for external validation, and start to come into a deeper relationship with yourself. There are many Ayurvedic practices that can connect you to your body and your heart. Even Abhyanga, self-massage with oil, rubbing it all over your body, feeling your body, can be a wonderful way to heal yourself, to be with your body. A lot of us don't love our bodies, and we're not taught to unless we're these skinny, perfect looking little dolls that men are attracted to. And luckily, women, we have our periods, our moon, and we're clearing and purifying our blood, and that definitely helps. The period helps us build Ojas, but a lot of women may become more sexually activated at that time, so then they have sex and deplete the Ojas. So your period is a sacred time. This is not something that's disgusting. That has all came from the patriarchal mind. Periods were revered in ancient times, and women got together when they had their moons and revered each other, connected with each other, talked about ways to help their tribes through problems, through issues. And it was a very powerful thing, and it still is, but we have been taught menstruation is disgusting. A lot of men think it's disgusting, yet they want to have sex with us. So what's up with that? Menstruation is a natural, beautiful part of being a woman, and it does clean the blood, purify the blood, and it's something that should be honored and respected. So really, the point I'm trying to make is not that sex is bad, but that we should have a deeper awareness of why we are having sex. Like I've said before, one of my favorite teachers always says this too: the context is greater than the content. So if we're having sex to fill this void and we feel the need to be promiscuous or to use our beauty in very succubus types of ways, maybe we need to step back and be with the self. Learn to cultivate this self-love, and that's not easy. It can take time, but all we have to do is to be willing. So I really implore you to think about this. Think about if what I'm saying resonates with you, and rid yourself, emancipate yourself from that which you've been told that doesn't resonate with your heart. Ojas also lives in the heart, and we want to be in life vital, strong, beautiful, all of these things. So we can build our Ojas through a healthy Ayurvedic diet, through our yoga practice, through cultivating joy with others and making these connections that aren't sexually based, saving our sacred sexuality for the right person, and you'll know if it's the right person. You'll feel it in here. And this sexual drive is very strong, and I've been incredibly magnetized to people in the lower triangle, these lower chakras, and come to find out it wasn't the right thing. And women, when we have sex with a man, we take that man's energy in forever. It does not leave our body. It becomes part of us. So women, have discernment with who you let inside of you. This is very, very important. There are definitely yogic kriyas and practices we can do to help clear some of that out and stabilize, but it will never totally go away. And you know, this is important. You don't want to just meet some dude in a bar and have these experiences with him and be left with that energy. You know, I mean, sometimes that can be a positive thing, and it might be what we need at various times in life. But again, it's recognizing this and remembering this first. Do I want this energy? Is this worth it to me? What am I gaining and giving from this joining of divine masculine and feminine? And thinking about that. So I hope that I've given you something to marinate on within yourselves. Any questions, please reach out to me or to any of the teachers here at the studio. We'd love to hear from you. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Remember your Ojas, your life-giving vitality. Namaste.